Today, we are going to look at this country, which is making headlines all over the news, Iran. And we are going to look at the historical perspective of Iran, and hoping probably it might throw some light on the prevailing situation which we are having today. Iran is found in Western Asia, which some people call Middle East. It is bordered by countries like Iraq, Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, Afghanistan. It also has maritime border with Caspian Sea in the north, uh, Persian Gulf in the south, and Gulf of Oman also in the south. Iran has a very interesting and remarkable misunderstood history. We are just going to look at the historical timeline so that this video does not become very long. We are going to start from 550 BCE, when Iran was part of the Persian or the mighty Persian Empire, which was founded by Cyrus the Great, stretching all the way from Greece to India. Cyrus the Great is known as the author of the first Charter of Human Rights. So no wonder most of the regions which are conquered by Persia by that time, they were given freedom. So we are looking at Iran during that time when it was a free nation, close to secular. That is for over 1,000 years. The Persians were practicing a religion called Zoroastrianism, which believes in one divine God, struggle between evil and good. It was also emphasizing heaven and hell. We have to remember that this was times before Christ, before Islam. So it's that same belief which found its way in the modern religions we know now. Religions like Judaism, like Islam, like Christianity, they took up the same belief. So something fundamental happened in 7th century when armies swept all the way from Arabian Peninsula and conquered this part of the world. They came with a new faith called Islam, meaning submission in Arabic. Islam, unlike any other religion, in addition to emphasizing faith, it affects all other aspects of life. So it brought about a remarkable, drastic change in the lives of Iranian people. And it was adopted and accepted until something important happened. The year 1501 is a fundamental year in the history of Iran. It represents a time when the Safavids rose to power. The Safavids did something remarkable which would change fundamentally and reshape the way Iran was. They declared Shia sect of Islam as the official state religion. This was a very fundamental aspect. Shia sect is a minority sect which deviated from the majority Sunni. For them, they believe that the right successor to the Prophet Muhammad, was supposed to be Ali ibn Talib, the son-in-law and the cousin to the Prophet. For them, they believe that the ancestry was supposed to be in the bloodline. This is slightly different from the Sunnis, who believed that the Council of Elders can sit down and elect the successor. It was a persecuted minority sect until the time when the Safavids came to power and declared it the official religion of Iran. What was established after this was a stable Shia state where politics and ways of life of the people are intertwined, which ideology laid the ground for what would become the Islamic Republic of Iran, though it was decades to come. By 18th and 19th century, Iran, which is part of the mighty Persian Empire, found itself on the back foot. It found itself outmatched by the European powers. It must be remembered that it is during this time the Qajar dynasty, which they said presided over a period of humiliation, ruled. The Qajar dynasty presided over Iran between 1785 and 1925. But they say they experienced a lot of humiliation. Foreign powers could come and carve over their land. They manipulated Iranian politics and took their resources with impunity. British in particular, they established monopoly over Iranian oil reserves, taking all the profits and leaving Iranians with only pittance. So it was very unfair situation to Iranians. And all this is thought to have brought about by the fact that Iran was lagging behind militarily, scientifically, and technologically. This foreign exploitation left very deep scars on Iranians, and it fueled the spirit of nationalism, which is still actually influencing Iran up to today. Challenged by the situation, the reformists and elders looked to West for inspiration. They tried to establish democratic reforms where they came up with a constitution and also established a parliament. But this is what you have to know, that all these democratic aspirations which were being pursued were frequently being frustrated and sabotaged by the Western powers by then, mostly Russia and Britain, fearing that they will lose their influence over Iran. The failure of the democratic reforms created a vacuum in the leadership, and this one brought about the situation which happened in 1925. In 1925, Reza Khan Pahlavi, who was a military officer, seized power by force. And him and his son Muhammad, they established Pahlavi dynasty. These people, they pursued what we call secular nationalism. They reversed the Islamic identity of Iran. They banned the hijab. They gave women voting powers. They cut down the power of the clerics. According to them, they believed that Iran's Islamic identity was the obstacle to its development. So their policies worked. Universities were established, film industry flourished. Iran became modern, but this came at a tremendous cost because of autocracy. The year 19 53 is a very important year in the history of Iran. You have to remember that throughout the entire history we've put across, there is no name America. America is nowhere to be seen. So America came into play in the Iranian history in the year 1953. During this year, the CIA, which is Central Intelligence Agency, which is an American secret agency, connived with MI16, which is a British agency, and orchestrated a coup which overthrew a democratically elected Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. This coup, which was dubbed Operation Ajax, would bring in America to become the dominant foreign power into Iran. And the success of this coup would go on to haunt US-Iran relationship for decades to come. So America now is in. And not just in, but it is the dominant foreign power. So coming in of America makes it a target, actually a primary target for Iran and imperialistic sentiments. So that explains what is happening today. The coup, which was orchestrated by the CIA and MI16, installed the Shah as the absolute monarch. And this is when all the problems started, which we are observing today. Shah, because he knew which side of his bread was buttered, he did so many changes in the leadership, which resulted into his opposition. First of all, he abandoned the Islamic identity of Iran in favor of the pro-Western policies. We can't say it was such autocratic, but his diversion from the norms created hatred, and it created a revolution and a serious opposition against him. So by 1970, the opposition had grown. At the forefront of this opposition stood a personnel, Ruhollah Khomeini. This one was so opposed to pro-American policies, and he was forced into exile in 1964. So he was exiled in France, and his campaign continued. From his exile in France, Khomeini developed a revolutionary ideology that will go on to fundamentally change Iran and Shia Islam as well. In his work, which he called the Islamic Government, Khomeini argued that Islamic societies must be ruled by Islamic scholars. And he said that it's the duty of the scholars to enforce and streamline these laws. In other words, Khomeini was arguing for establishment of Islamic government. But that was a fundamental departure from the Shia theology, because according to the Shia theology, the only legitimate Islamic government can be established by a Messiah, by Imam, and hidden figure who will be coming at the end of times. But Khomeini argued that in the absence of Imam, it is the duty and the right of the learned religious scholars to implement and enforce the religious laws. Khomeini's message resonated well with a number of groups of Iranians which were opposing the Shahs. Um, this included the ordinary Iranians who were fed up of corruption and political suppression, the bazaar merchants who were scared of Western influences that it might leave them out economically, the leftist student who were singing his rhetoric and imperialistic sentiments. So, in other words, it reached a number of Iranian hearts. And this one influenced the Iran we see today. The year 1979 is a very remarkable year in the history of Iran. By that time, the growing opposition against Shah was at its peak. So, on the 16th of January of 1979, Shah freed the country. So, on the 1st of February, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini came back. And everybody remembers those scenes of him being welcomed back. Millions of Iranians poured on the streets to welcome him back. And on the 11th of March, that is 10 days after coming of Ruhollah Khomeini, the government of the Shah was overthrown. After the overthrow of Shah's government, it looked like the revolution was lacking direction because all these groups came to scramble for power. The leftist fundamentalists, the secular Democrats, the Islamic fundamentalists, all of them looked for power. And for a brief period of time, there was this little hope that Iran might go the direction of democracy, where a government which tolerates both religious fundamentalists and the secular Democrats might be established. Did it happen? That will come in part 2. So in part 2, we are going to start from there. We are going to start from coming back of Ayatollah Khomeini and overthrowing of the Shah's government. Don't forget to click the like button. Yeah, the channel is World Focus with Richard. We believe you won't regret being on this channel. See you then. Bye-bye.